Hello, Mark Red Larson here for Dream Kitchen Podcast. Thanks for joining me today. It's just me, and the title of this podcast is Believe. And if you look back, you probably can't tell on these shelves. There's a whole bunch of inspirational things up there. It says Believe. There's a whole bunch of things that say Believe, and I have that so much on everything that I do because what you believe, you bring about. And not that long ago, I just like, yeah, right. And it does. It really does. Um, Especially with what Cheryl and I've gone through. We have believed that it was always going to get better. That's why we kept moving forward. I mean, I had people say, I don't know how you keep going. It's like, well, we believe it will get better. And but we could have believed that it was going to be bleak and never get better. And what you do believe, you bring about. And belief, belief can bring about fear. Belief can bring about, discrimination because of what you think about that particular type of person or sex or, whatever it is. You might think women aren't as capable as men. That's your belief, or vice versa. Or you could believe that the world's going to end. You know, when we get a new president. Or you could have believed, the belief is 100% of what everything you do every day. You believe that you have to go to work to make a living, to, keep going. And yeah, there is truth to that. But I've also found that there's also different ways, beliefs to get you to every day, get that day accomplished. And, but it is a belief that I could do a podcast at 62 years old. I would be in a week from today, 62. And I can't believe it. I don't believe that. See, belief gets in there and you don't even realize it. And but I don't have the belief that you're old, like they seem to put on the TV or drug companies or whatever, when you turn 60 year old. You're old when you act old. And yes, some people do have health problems that age them, and that it definitely happens. But there are so many, the majority of the people out there, just they get to 60, 65, and they have the belief that they're getting old. So they got to start acting like old, being old. And it's a belief that's like, no, I'm not old. I had a gentleman the other day. It's like, wanted to know if Cheryl and I had grandkids. It's just like, well, you look like, and yeah, there's wrinkles, but I'm proud of those. I'm still here. I've been very blessed on having health. And but the belief is that, yeah, I can have wrinkles and still do stuff that I can still do stuff that I did when I was 40 years younger. I'm blessed there. But it's if I can still do it, I'm not going to stop doing it because I'm going to be 62. That is a belief that is limiting, very limiting on what you get accomplished. Because people, they shut down, they retire and they shut down and wait to die, basically. They might take a trip or two or whatever their belief was that they could do when they retired, but they still have to save those pennies, because the belief is that there won't be enough funds, to get them to the day they die. So they play it safe, and which is terrible. Yeah, what you believe will bring it, you'll bring about. It is how you manifest. I tell Cheryl Donald, you do to manifest something, you believe it with passion. You believe with every feeling, and when you do that, you bring that into reality. And some people might think I'm crazy, but that's how it works. And but you are not old. There are days when you might feel old, but I know Cheryl, who's a little bit older than I am. Phil has days with that, but I think that's a lot of the stuff from her cancer treatments. The chemo really did a number on her, but she's still here. And she still, is young at heart as I am, because she believes also, maybe not as much as I do, that you're not old when you get in your 60s. You're not old when, I mean, I just saw a lady the other day that ran a marathon. I think she was close to 100. Now talk about that is belief. And we're not maybe going to be all to do that because there's people that get sicknesses and stuff, and that is another thing. But these people that are healthy, it's just like, do it. Don't, I always say, forget about your age, because your age is a number. if you still feel like it, and don't forget about, I should say, what other people are going to think about you. Forget about it 100%. You know, they aren't concerned about you anyway. They're only concerned about themselves. Something that took me a while to figure out too. But it's just do it. I could be, when I do work out at the Y, people could say, "What's that old man or that old, guy doing there doing that crap?" He's like, "Why is he working out?" And it's like, because I want to, and I enjoy it. And I'm going to show the world that you can be 60, 61, 62, whatever the age, and you can still do stuff like that. You can still, run a marathon. You do deadlifts or whatever it is that you really want to do. And don't believe for a second that you can't. It may be not as easy as when you're younger, but you can still do it. Yeah, you can still do it. So yeah, it is, it's so eye-opening to analyze your beliefs because they truly are what guide you day in and day out. And I was actually watching a show this morning when Charlie and I were having some coffee and stuff, and they talked about belief and fear, and that fear is not a good advisor to life, because fear will keep you safe. Fear will keep you from doing things. Fear can stop you almost in your tracks, and you live a minimalist life, a very you know, basically boring life. It's not life that people were going to write about because you played it safe. It's like go out there and just do it. And like I said, and that's one thing with the podcast. People will say, "Well, aren't you old to do a podcast?" It's like there's an age on it. I've already gotten two groups of people started on podcasts, and I hope, and my goal, not hope, goal is to get a whole bunch more people started on podcasts. For one thing, it's such a great way to connect with the world and make a difference. And that's what I'm here for. And everybody's like, "Well, shouldn't you have done that when you were younger?" It's like, why? That's one thing. There's so much ageism. And I plan on doing this for the rest of my life. As long as I'm healthy and able to do it, I am going to do this. There's no retirement. And that's another thing, I guess, retirement when you get in your 60s. It's like, well, you gotta be getting ready for retirement. It's like, no, I don't. I don't I play that game. I never will play that game. I don't plan on retiring. Um, why would I want to retire when I'm doing something that I love? And I like this. I like my life really well. It's awesome. I mean, I've liked pretty much everything I've done through my life, but this I get to connect with so many people, and that's me. That is me. Um, yeah. And if when I was younger, I had never said that, but it's amazing how goals and dreams and everything changes as you age. The dream you might have had when you were 20 is a lot different than when you it could be a lot different than when you're 60. Doesn't have to be. So, but don't believe for a second that you cannot go out and do something, you know, start a business. Start a business at 62. Um, Write a book, which I will be doing. I'm learning how to do that with talk to text apps. And yeah, I got some books in me. And I think maybe Cheryl does too. So, but I would have never thought for one thing, writing, traditionally you had to write a book. Still isn't for me. But the stuff that they have that is out there to help you now, and yeah. And at first, I thought AI was, and I still cautious about AI, but there's so many things AI can do that can help you like that, write a book. Um, and my belief was AI was totally bad. Maybe had a couple redeeming factors, but most of the time it was bad. But AI has got a lot of positives. I have this a podcast that I'm still attempting to get up because it has so much reverb that I cannot get any software to take it out. And it was such one of the better podcasts I've ever done. So I really want to try and get this, not try, I hate that word, get the reverb out so you guys don't have to suffer listening to Jeff and I. Because he's down, Tasmania. And it was a great podcast. And he doesn't have the reverb. I do, which is interesting. So many 17 time zones away or whatever, something like that. And but that's yeah. But it's connection, and doing that kind of thing. And that's another thing. I think when you have the belief that you can do stuff, you keep on learning. And when people stop learning, and I believe they get old. They got to keep, they got to keep current. And I have to push myself more with the current technology to realize that, yeah, there's going to be good and bad with everything. But it was my belief, again, that it was going to be all bad. And I still, like I said, caution, but so far what I'm seeing is so awesome. And I know I've said that before, but it was my belief, again, tainting my reality. Um, and if maybe you go the other way, really go for it, and then be cautious also. But just think how much, if you're at the forefront of something like that and showing people the way, and I know I've said that in past podcasts, that's what God has in store for myself, is to show people their gift and show them the way. And AI and plus other tools that are probably still be coming up, are going to be such awesome tools to show, to embellish, the journey to doing that. But you have to have, yeah, and I also think you can get old when you don't accept new technology. And I was falling into that trap, definitely. And yeah, I have a friend that I've got to apologize for, my friend and family that had to apologize because I kind of went off on AI. And yeah, I will apologize to him. So yeah, it's just watch your beliefs. Have another friend that just has discovered that she has cancer, and I know your beliefs really start. It's like you don't even know what. I know Cheryl was that way when she found out she had colon cancer, and your belief is you're maybe not going to make it. Your mind goes to that, and it's too bad it has to go to that way. Goes to that because I also believe that what you believe taints, or not taints, but determines your reality. I think maybe that partly was why Cheryl survived her colon cancer, because she had like a 14% chance of surviving it, and she did. But I think it's attitude, beliefs, and all that that are, whether you're successful on a podcast, whether you're successful being a new business, being a speaker on stage. Um, there's a whole gambit of things there that beliefs determine reality. And whether it's successful, because I'm going to be in February, I can't believe I'm going to be at year 4 of this podcast. And when I started that, I did not have the belief that I was going to be a podcaster. I can tell you that. I thought, yeah, no, right, I'm not going to be that. But I thought, why not? And I'm so glad I did. I had the belief that I could do anything. May not be easy, but I could do it. And I wanted to transfer that to so many people, all people, that they can do whatever they put their mind to and have the belief that they will be successful. Probably won't be easy, but maybe you might be an overnight success. What overnight successes are like 10 years in the making. Um, but it's just, it is, everything comes down to your belief. The belief that I'm still going to be here, I'm still going to be healthy, I'm going to be able to travel the world, all those beliefs. I'm going to make a huge difference in the world. Um, they're all beliefs that I believe. And I also believe writing down your beliefs. You know, I don't do I don't do journaling much. I do a little bit, but not very much. But I do have where you write it on paper when you get it into reality. There's something about writing it down. And if you have a belief that I'm going to be whatever it is, write it down, write it down, write it down. And look at that. Look at what you've written down. Your brain finally gets to the point. It's like, yeah, I think he's serious about this, and we'll go for that. And also, what I've told you in past podcasts is God, universe, whatever you believe, brings things to aid in your goals that you want to do. They bring all kinds of things in to help you with those things, especially when you act like I'm doing this. And I know it's been the way on this podcast and pretty much everything I've been doing recently. Um, I have people come to my aid to help me with the podcast. Uh, or people help me meet somebody that will help me with the podcast. Or, that's how I got Crystal. Basically, my past coach that I had that got me home started with the podcast. I met her I was in Vegas at the same time she was, and I was there because I was helping this family put on an event out there in Vegas, and she wasn't even supposed to be at the place where I was at that time. So yeah, God definitely crossed our path. And but if I hadn't been for an event out in San Diego, which actually got me started on all this way back in 2018, I would have never met pretty much everybody that I'm friends with right now. And a lot of those people have helped me along the way. Crystal really helped me a lot on this with the podcast. And it's just it's interesting how don't doubt when you have your path crossed with somebody that it wasn't God doing it. And sometimes it's what they say, it's a lesson, or it's good or it's bad. And I don't know, lessons can be good, because if they move you forward, um, it's all good. So don't dismiss that. Don't dismiss connections. And I've talked about that so much. There's so many connections being missed because of our phones, that we always have in our hands. And I'm as bad as a lot of people. Not as bad as people like I want to go to the Y. I mean, and you find it other places too, where they are on their phone and they just don't even talk to you. Although I get quite a few people that work at the Y to talk to me, and you can ask them that because I talk to them a lot. But they're awesome. They're like family over there, and there are a lot of them are going to do the podcast. In fact, I think I might even going to be use a room that's over there to do so many podcast episodes. So I look forward to that. But yeah, it's just connections, and that's another thing. Don't have him right at the moment. A personal trainer, Caleb, who's been on the podcast numerous times. If I had the mindset I was too old to have a trainer, you know, um, I loved it. I didn't know what to expect. And Cheryl for a while was also with Caleb, and we both loved doing that. I look so forward to going back to that. And I've already talked to Caleb, and he's going to kick my butt because I told him to. And yeah, and Caleb's very supportive of me on this podcast, and thank you, Caleb. But yeah, if you had those beliefs that you were too old or you're in too much aches and pains, and I can't do that, I just I need to act my age, and all these things that we tell ourselves, and we tell ourselves so much, and like I was getting back to, when Cheryl and this friend have, with cancer, you tell yourself all these things, and really until reality, you don't know, because it affects it's everything. I have found that cancer or other illnesses all are different for each person. And I wish this friend well tomorrow. She's starting her first chemo. So, but yeah, you just don't know. But you just have the belief that things are going to get better, and also that these kind of things, which I've been through the last year and a half and stuff like that, and cancers or whatever else, trials and tribulations, builds you up. You become so strong because the stuff that used to affect you doesn't affect you at all. So in that way, it's a gift. It is very much a gift that that you're that you go forward. Have the belief that things are going to go better, and you go through the trials and tribulations because you have the choice to not do the stuff. You could just say, I'm just gonna, like some people do. They just kind of go back in their home or wherever and just kind of wait to die. And I see people doing that every day. It's just and another thing, there's so many people that are older in age that have so much to offer society, but the belief is that that they've done their part in society, and they should just kind of go away quietly. And really, we're missing so much. And like I said the other day, it's also on the younger people's side too. We don't think they have anything to offer because they're young, and it's our belief that that's the case. And I think we need to have the belief that, everybody has something to contribute. Everybody has a gift. Everybody can make a difference. Everybody wants to make a difference. And yeah, and just forget about age, all that. Just have your belief that we're all here to walk each other home. And I like that saying a lot because I truly do believe that. I think truly lovingly walk each other home. And I think on that, I'm going to end the podcast. But don't let your beliefs get in the way of your life because it can make you basically go nowhere, and the world's waiting for you. So, like me on this podcast, it took me until my 60s to start, basically almost 60 when I started, to start this podcast, and it's never too late. So, on that, thank you for joining me on the Dreamcatcher podcast, and until next time, take care.